Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Make Sense. I'm here with Rahil and Jaitra again. Of course, we're missing our fourth member, that's Amir. He's a busy man, he has some work, so he couldn't join us and he won't be joining us for a while, but that's okay. Few of us will take care of business till then. So today's topic is veg versus non-veg. We're going to be covering various topics under um, this topic itself, and we'll try and cover as much as possible. And yeah, before I say anything further, I'm just going to say that Rahil is the dumbest person in the room for today. What we do is the moderator is usually the person who doesn't know much about the topic. I mean, I just made that rule up, but anyways, basically Rahil is the moderator. Jaitra today, I think, will give us more insights, unlike last time. Just kidding. But yeah, over to you now, Rahil. You can introduce and go ahead further.
For today's discussion, our criteria remains the same for the discussions, and we have certain topics and talking points that we can discuss. We have Anvay over here, who is actually a lot into yoga. He's lived in a yoga center for a significant portion of his life, and yeah, he's becoming a monk day by day. And he's going to talk about the various health benefits and the spiritual aspects about vegetarian food. And we have Jaitra on the other end, who's really hardcore into gymming, and he has his all his nutritional information from the internet. I am the least experienced over here, ergo I am moderating. So yeah, so starting today's discussion, let's actually start with something very pressing debate that is going on, which is better, veg or non-veg. Like all my non-vegetarian friends are like, bro, you know what, non-veg food's the best. Why you eating grass like an animal? Are you some? That always happens. So today, let's actually get started. And why don't you take the lead?
Yeah, man. Okay, so I'll quickly give you all a little background on this veg non-veg thing. Of course, it's been a thing for years, but I mean, it's only come up as a topic in the recent past. Before that, I mean, no one really said that eating non-veg is good, bad. It was either you're non-vegetarian, you're vegetarian, or you're an vegetarian. I mean, some people call themselves that. So yeah, I guess there was these three basic divisions in what kind of food people ate. And then in the recent past, veganism and vegetarianism has really gained a lot of importance. It's become very popular, especially in the West. Like a lot of people are turning vegan, and I'm not too sure about how good veganism is for your health, because that also means giving up milk products, which wasn't really said in the Indian cultural diets that were followed, or in yoga as such. They don't tell you to not have milk. In fact, they promote having milk and milk products like ghee, or proper gai ka doodh, like Shuddh gai ka doodh. Um, but of course, things today are very different. So yeah, that's a basic uh, division of the way diets work today. We can go in a little depth after this, but I think I'll go back to you, Rahel, since we've divided some topics. Just shoot the first topic, and I think we'll start discussing that topic.
Today, let's first weigh out the different health benefits and maybe try and find some consensus or some basis over here. Because see, a lot of people, they also say that your proteins that they come, which you get from animals, is really good for your body, which you possibly can't get with plants, because your plant proteins are slightly incomplete. The animal proteins come from they convert that, and then it's directly stored in the muscle or whatever part of the animal that you eat, and then you consume that protein directly. So that's one top part about proteins. And as Indians, our diets don't really consist a lot of protein. We usually focus more
Yeah,
on
that's true.
carbohydrates. So talking about protein, like Anvay, you have anything to say about like because I personally am a like I've lived as a vegetarian, but I also do eat animal products once in a while. I eat meat, but it's not like I don't like you get your proteins from your pulses, your dal. I eat eggs also, but like how if you're a vegetarian, where do you get all your proteins from? Because like just dal.
So yeah, so as you said, first of all, that your pulses and your it's mainly the pulses actually, but there's also food like paneer. There are other natural foods like your dry fruits like badam and all. They also have a lot of protein in them. So basically, vegetarian sauces are mainly plant based, right? The plant based sauces, they're not considered to be the best protein sources. Like for the longest time, they weren't considered to be, because there was that perception that you have to have like steak or chicken and that heavy food to make you like big and bulky. But I think that's not true. First of all, it's not even proven that being big and bulky is actually healthy or not. So that itself is a flaw in that diet. That's one. But secondly, more than anything, following a vegetarian diet, you feel the benefits in your body itself. Like, so if you eat vegetarian food, like you can experiment this yourself, whoever's watching, and you guys too. I think Jetra has done this. We spoke about this once before this as well. So I know that Jetra is switching towards vegetarianism almost completely, if not completely yet. And so am I. I was also a non-veg eater myself because my mom is a Maharashtrian, and Maharashtrians love eating their non-veg, the chicken and mutton and fish. And I'm still.
All of y'all eat non-veg, right? Even Rahul eats
Yeah,
non-veg.
Yeah, I'm not at home, but like outside. Outside I do eat.
Acha. Yeah. So same. Like I luckily can eat it at home. I mean, it's been okay to eat it at home for me, but again, preferably not so much because, it's not healthy. And ever since basically I got into actually properly learning about yoga is when it automatically came to me. Like before that, if my sister ever told me, because she started practicing yoga properly before I did, and she told me this, she introduced this whole concept to me first. Like, of course, I knew it was there. But when she told me, I was like, Arey, but no, I gave reasons to it. And then until last year, I properly did a course in yoga education. And then it automatically came to me. Like, it's not like it's not like I woke up one day, aaj veg ho jayenge. Obviously, it took time. But after a lot of practice and learning of yoga, I was just like, maybe I shouldn't be eating non-veg. And after that, like, realization, that moment is when it started. And since then I've been trying to like cut down on my non-veg, slowly move to completely like a vegetarian diet. And it's a tough transition because at times you get that craving because you basically, at least for me, I've always had non-veg since I was a kid. I never had a restriction as such on what I should be eating because of course my one half of my family is Maharashtrian. Now I'm still eating eggs, I'm still eating maybe fish once in a while, very rarely, but chicken is like off limits now for me. It just doesn't suit my body. Like I'm done with.
Is about you feeling good when you eat vegetarian food, and I can like give you one experience from me. Like whenever I eat like chicken or mutton or whatever, whenever you eat meat after you're done one, it's very filling. Like even if you eat chicken, it's like super filling, and after that you feel really tired and lethargic. Like once I'm done eating a nice big meal of roast chicken and potatoes and all of that, I don't feel like moving. I feel like just lying in the bed or lying on the couch. And that's one very, because earlier you actually told me, like we had this conversation earlier, which was once you eat food, you should feel energetic and not lethargic. And one thing that maybe because it's difficult to digest, because when you're eating meat products, your body consumes, like it takes more energy for your body to digest, which is why you feel lethargic, because all your energy is going into digesting that. But if you eat something lighter, then you're immediately up and running. So yeah, Anwar, you want to
basically, and this I saw in a Sadhguru video. I'm giving like the full credit. This has not come to me with some meditation or something. I've learned it from someone else. But I saw in this video and it really made sense to me after I saw it. Makes sense. So basically in that video, he explained about how our body has been designed and how our body is. I'll explain it to you guys real quick. Basically, like our teeth, right? The back teeth that we have are flat. They're molars. They're flat and they're for grinding our food, for chewing our food. Carnivores, that are animals like lions, tigers, who are predominantly non-vegetarian, their teeth are canines. And non-vegetarian food, it can't be chewed as such. Like for you see any animal, the flesh or the mass of their body, you can't chew it. It's thick, it's stiff. You can't chew it with your normal teeth. You need canines to just cut into it, and it goes into your body. The carnivores don't even chew their food. All they do is, because all their teeth are canines, they bite into the food and it's gone. They don't do any chewing. For humans, I mean, even though Western science said that humans are omnivores, they're actually not. The teeth that we have prove that, because all the teeth that we have here at the back are for grinding the food, and you can grind and chew vegetarian food. So that itself shows like basically humans are herbivores. That because of the teeth that we have, that's the kind of food we're supposed to eat. And I'll just give Jethro's example also, because I remember from one of our older
I
discussions.
have
Actually,
one
Jethro,
question regarding, you, because when we learn, even in school, when you're learning biology, you're taught that these are your incisors in the front, then you have four canines, and then
yeah,
there's premolars and molars.
yeah,
And in terms of anthropologically speaking, we actually found out that, on your cave paintings and all that, humans used to hunt, and then we were
yeah,
farming much later.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if we were hunting at that time, like, how are we herbivores? Because
So at that time, okay, so evolution happened, right? We used to also be animals. We were animals at one point, and because of evolution, we turned into humans, right? And at that point, humans didn't have the kind of intelligence or the kind of capabilities that we do have today. At that time, it was more about survival. It was not about spiritual learning or anything. That was not even a thing. Humans couldn't speak, they didn't have their own language at the time that you're talking about when they used to hunt. So it was all about survival. And for survival, if you at that time ate animals and all, it was okay because that was the time that it was in. It was all for survival. If you didn't eat, you would basically die. So they had to do what they had to do, and that was the way it was that time. There was no human intelligence. Today things are very different. Like we have the power to think, we have the power to do things consciously and not just do them as a compulsive habit like animals do. Because like for example, I can just give you this, and again this is from a Sadhguru video, it's not something that I'm just propagating. But like when, for example, when you eat your food, just don't do anything else while eating and concentrate and just focus on eating your food. Doesn't mean that you have to look at your food like this. You just silently sit and eat. That's it. But eat consciously. Don't just eat compulsively, like without realizing what's going in. Eat and know what's going in and feel each bite. I mean, that might sound a little frivolous or silly, but if you do it, you'll actually notice the difference. You'll know what you're eating. One, two, you will be conscious about how much you're eating and what you're eating. I know this is a little extra information, but if you try this, you'll experience it yourself. You'll know what it is.
So the thing is, our body requires 9 amino acids, okay?
yeah,
And meat, chicken, and fish, and red meat as well provides us with all 9 as a whole, okay? So if you think of it as a jigsaw puzzle, it's a complete puzzle. It's one big piece. But when you talk about vegetarian food or vegetarian proteins, you have to collect them in bits and pieces. Okay, they can give you all 9, but you won't get it from one source, other than paneer.
Hmm.
So paneer is the only vegetarian sauce that can give you all 9 amino acids at the same time. The rest are all plant proteins which don't give you all at once, but you have to collect them. It's
yeah,
complete the entire puzzle of those 9 amino acids. Now the problem here is that having a non-vegetarian diet to gain muscle mass. So I guess non-vegetarian diet in our country at least is only, it's for two reasons. One is because of just your upbringing. The second is because you want to gain muscle mass. Okay, and you no one is following it because of conscience. Not much people follow it because of conscience currently. So the thing is, biologically speaking, eating vegetarian food is much better for your health. Non-veg is a much faster process. Also, what happens is when you kill any animal, no matter how ethically it is, even what happens is when an animal dies, the cells of the body become acidic, and our
yeah,
body is alkaline. So, in that process of conversion from acidic to alkaline, there is so much heat generated in your body, which in
Yeah,
Ayurveda is also
yeah,
known as pith.
yeah,
Pith.
yeah.
So
Right.
the pith levels in your body rise so drastically that it causes harm to your skin, it causes harm to your hair, the quality of plus just body odor. So vegetarians don't have rarely have the issue of body odor compared to non-vegetarians. Most non-vegetarians have issues of body odor, especially you'll realize this after you get up from the table after having a full hearty non-vegetarian meal. You'll realize that you just feel so
Yeah, you feel heavy. That's the thing.
my conscience.
yeah. I
Eating, you
mentioned
feel
that.
you feel so heavy, and like you mentioned earlier, Rahel, that you eat non-veg food, and after that, like your body is just so trying so hard to digest that food that your energy is just all going into that digestion, that you feel drowsy, sleepy, tired. And then of course and also non-vegetarian food takes much longer to digest in your system. So
Yeah.
it's taking that much time, plus it's not suiting the body and the any blood flow is going there. So yeah, that process just takes really long. Compared to on the other hand, I think Jethro was anyway going to mention this, but basically if you eat vegetarian food and you see for yourself, you will feel much lighter. And it's true, like after eating, since your food is basically your fuel, after eating you should feel ready to go at it again. Now you shouldn't feel like, okay, now I want to go to sleep. I
Yeah.
mean, what's the point you're eating to give yourself energy and give yourself your fuel to go at it again, but you're sleeping. So that clearly means you're probably
So,
doing something wrong there.
But
Huh.
I think even
so
one of that thing would be also how your food is prepared. Like if you have, say, if you're eating, say, butter chicken or
Hmm.
however you eat your meat, if it's doused into other oils like ghee or butter or whatever, the benefits that you might get health-wise from even eating that meat. But even if you're eating it and if it's prepared in an unhealthy manner, which is with a lot of other oils and other fats, then of course it's detrimental to your health. But I feel that if you're preparing it in a cleaner way, which is,
Hmm.
you either roast it, you grill it, but you don't use so much of, oils and other extra stuff on it. You, to one point, it could be healthy for you because, like, I was just researching a bit on this about, why should you eat non-vegetarian food and why could it not be that bad? Was one is there are certain proteins and certain vitamins, especially B12. There is no plant food in the world which can give you B12 naturally. So if you're eating, say, vegetarian food, you're naturally deficient in B12 and you need it. It's a very important protein for your brain function, for your neurological function, your overall health. And that's why a lot of vegetarians actually get B12 deficient, and
Hmm.
which is how you get your B12 tablets, which you
Yeah.
normally get if you're eating meat. So then there's no issue.
So wait, I'll give you an explanation for this. First, I'll tell you why there is veganism in the first place. More than the health reason, it's basically to stop animal cruelty, and the level at which they produce milk and milk products is not good for the cow, or it's not good for those animals. In fact, they treat them like
Yeah,
horribly in those factories where they remove the milk and all. So the reason people are going vegan is this. And earlier in India, the reason yogic diets never said that don't consume milk products is because that time people, like literally every family or every family living in
your own
India,
cattle.
you had one guy, aisa, one, two guys, or maybe even more depending on the number of people. Like that, every family had their own cow and their own milk. So the milk would come from that same cow, and you had should direct from there to here transfer, and you consume, you make your ghee, you make your paneer, whatever else you have, and that's it. There was no problem. So now the problem is this, that animal cruelty, because of which people are not consuming it. So maybe your point about this B12 thing might be right.
So
The
yeah,
scientific
I'm
part.
just saying it from like a scientific point of view because
Yeah. Mhm.
like I was studying, so I was a science student in case
Yeah.
you didn't know, and I used to study. We used to study polymers and amino acids and all of that. And I actually asked my professor, like, how do you consume what is the best way to consume protein?
Yeah.
Because you have so many people saying whey protein or this protein. He said that one is eggs. Your albumin of the egg is the pure best form of protein because your body will absorb it immediately. But now
Yeah.
when you cook your egg, you destroy that protein, you destroy the amino acid because it polymerizes. Heat, it changes the protein. And when you cook an egg, it essentially you don't get as much benefit as you would if you eat it raw. There are two issues with eating eggs raw. One is the taste, because
Hmm.
raw eggs don't really taste that good, and two is the fear of salmonella, because if your eggs are not from a good source or something, there might be a chance of you catching salmonella.
also
And
affects your
Infections.
liver real bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like scientifically, the best source of protein is whey protein.
yeah. So
There's nothing
then
better than
second was
that,
whey
like
protein,
gaining
which
muscle.
was one is you buy your supplements, but you don't know if he's ripping you off for flour
Hmm.
or it's actual whey protein.
Hmm.
The best natural way to get whey protein is when you make shrikhand in your house, you tie that ghee or whatever over that thing and you let it drain
Yeah,
through the muslin cloth,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
liquid
yeah.
below that. That liquid is 100% pure whey protein, which we throw away.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what my professor actually told me is that's what you're supposed to drink because that's 100% whey protein and you won't get anything purer in terms of whey, which you're supposed to consume. That's the best way you can build muscle because all bodybuilders they've got whey proteins and all of this.
So I have one thing to say here.
Yeah,
There was a documentary I saw, which again I think I've mentioned this to you all, but it's called The Game Changers. First of all, highly recommend you watch that documentary. because they not just give you scientific facts as to why a plant-based diet is better or a vegetarian diet. They also give you examples of athletes, top class athletes today in the world, following those diets, feeling the change, feeling the difference, and going at it as good as any other athlete would be. So basically, in that documentary, they also dug up some old archaeological remains of from the Greek this civilization and from other places as well. Basically, they were trying to prove that at that time actually humans didn't follow a largely based animal diet. Like I'm not talking about like prehistoric, when humans were like just turned into humans and they were hunting, etc., etc. Basically, um, the gladiators, who were known as the best like warriors, your best of the best, like the strongest. And you see those pictures of the gladiators, they're like huge. And they found in that documentary, they explained that they studied the bones that were left, and those bones, after studying them, they found that gladiators were actually on a plant-based diet. Now, can you imagine gladiators who are like best warriors? Okay, they're huge in terms of size. They're stronger than like any other humans that existed at that time, probably. And they were on a plant-based diet.
Even mentally, whatever's giving you good nutrition, as long as your diet is well balanced.
So I'll tell you I'll tell you why that's a little like, because all of us have actually accepted that as a thing that it's okay as long as I'm fine, it's good.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like we've not experienced a higher standard of living, so which is why we think at a certain standard is the highest, and beyond that, jana hi nahi, matlab it's okay. Like it's okay as long as I'm feeling fine, I'm good. But if you eat the right kind of food, as in the kind of food that you're supposed to eat, plus also the Vata Pitta Kapha thing that Jaitra was mentioning earlier, is basically an Ayurvedic concept. I won't go into too much depth, but basically Vata Pitta Kapha is the different kind of energies and basically the different kind of foods that you're supposed to eat and the different kinds of energies that that food brings to your body in a way, kind of. My explanation may not be the best, but to give you a very, very basic understanding, that's what it is. So, Vata Pitta Kapha explains your body clock and what time you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to eat, when you're supposed to eat. Okay, all of this. Now, the problem one isn't only with like this veg, non veg, it's also with the time you eat. Now, that doesn't really matter much, but imagine if you're eating at wrong hours, which is already causing your body to not function at its optimum. And over and above that, you're eating non vegetarian food, which uh, takes up a lot of energy of your body to break down and to digest and all of that that process goes in. So that's why what I was saying is like it's true that you might feel like you're fine and you don't feel like there's anything wrong, but in hindsight you've actually not experienced a higher or better way of living, so you feel like this is okay. But if you actually, like, if religiously we all do, because even I'm making the transition now, but if you yourself experience it, then you will feel like the difference. And I'm not advocating this, just to you. I'm just saying from my own experience, because while I've been vegetarian, I've really felt like more alive than I otherwise ever do. And I recently kind of, went off my this vegetarian diet thing and I ate chicken, and I just felt so not good. Like I just felt not at all good in my body. Like that night, I was just like my energy was different. My work wasn't happening. I was just like couldn't sleep early. I slept really late, and all of this matters because it's all interconnected. Like your body clock plus your diet, it's all interconnected. That's what Vata Pitta Kapha is. And that if that's not in line, which is basically means if your body clock isn't in line with the way the universe works. Now this is even more thoda yogic, but if it's not in line, then your health is an issue. And because we've not experienced a higher level of health, we think that it's okay once in a while to fall sick or to get fever, etc., etc., or these heart ailments, and people facing multiple ailments today. If you follow your body clock properly and you eat as much as possible the right kind of food, then your ailments, I wouldn't say will 100% go away, but I would say
It'll just help. It'll just better your immune system.
Yeah.
yeah.
So now speaking of diets, you have these internet trends of various diets. You've got your keto diet, or then some diet that people whoever's trying to lose weight will go on, simply just go on the internet and look for diets to lose weight, and then you'll get keto diet, you'll get this diet, you'll get that diet. But then
Yeah.
how much of it actually you're benefiting, how much you're not benefiting? Say if you're doing a vegetarian keto diet, whatever, with vegetarian, how
Yeah.
much are you benefiting from that as compared to having like a proper balanced one where you, instead of just like removing carbs from your diet altogether, any of that? Because in my mind, your body needs carbohydrates, your body needs fats, your body needs proteins, your body needs
100%.
vitamins, your body
So-
needs minerals. Now, if you deprive yourself out of any one of them, your body is going to go out of balance.
Yeah,
Just
correct.
because that.
So the thing,
Yeah.
the good that you mentioned about keto and all of this as well. So the basic fact of comparing a vegetarian diet and a non-vegetarian diet on the basis of nutrients and saying that non-vegetarian diet's better because so it's just it's an easier method to reach that goal. Okay, so the destination is the same. There are two different paths. Non-veg helps you. Why do most people want to, like youngsters at least, muscle mass to gain for muscle gain, right? So so a non-vegetarian diet is a much easier way to get there, but at the same time, a non-vegetarian diet can also, at the same time, when you stop working out, tend to make you increase more weight. In keto, the thing is, when you talk about keto, is basically cutting off carbs or keeping the carb intake under 100 grams per day. And that process of, so your body uses carbohydrates for energy. Okay. But in ketosis, the process of ketosis makes it derive energy from fats,
From the fats, yeah.
yeah, which causes the fat to burn. So having that, so I don't think you can compare. You can, obviously, it's a much easier way, but you can't say that vegetarian food can't give you anything what non-veg does. The correct comparison for that would be between vegan food, like veganism, and non-vegetarianism. So veganism is
Because
more of
vegetarian
a
somewhere
choice.
in the middle path, grey.
Yeah.
Uska grey.
And vegetarianism,
Plug into episode 1. Watch that if you're confused about what is grey.
and the thing about vegetarianism is that it's a sorry about veganism is that it's a choice by conscience. Okay, it's about you care for animals, and that's what makes you vegan. And the thing is, even if you consider so eggs are considered vegetarian by the Western world, while the Eastern world is still a little they don't like to call it. But the definition of non-veg food is eating meat. It's deriving food from the flesh of an animal.
Yes, some
What?
people say fish is not non-veg. I don't know where I read it.
Huh?
I just heard someone say fish is not
Yeah,
non-veg.
in many countries, fish is considered vegetarian. Many countries. So now you might say that eggs don't do that because eggs no one's dying or anything. But that's
Or
only
then
if
they
you have.
sterilize the chicken so that the eggs aren't going to hatch ever.
Yeah.
They're just laying the eggs. You have those genetically done chicken.
No, so the thing is that if you're eating your eggs, that is well. But if you're eating your eggs and if you're thinking it's vegetarian and no life is going because of that, that's because that's only possible if you know that the chicken is homebred or it's your neighbor's chicken. But if you're buying it, if you're buying from the market, obviously it's industrialized, it's industrially manufactured, and millions of chickens are being ill-treated and dying because of that. So in that case, you have to turn vegan. Okay, because even milk and other dairy products are procured through that very process. So so like athletes, especially who are probably vegan or vegetarian, most athletes, I guess, in the world would be non-vegetarians. Okay, because trust me,
Yeah,
it's
most are.
they have for the intensity at what they are playing. That diet plays such a crucial role for them that they want the easiest path to get there in the most efficient manner. It's like in the most efficient way, right? But also about saying that vegetarianism, once you turn completely vegetarian, the things it does, and I've heard from people and what it does to your mind and your entire conscience about things is so amazing that exactly like the best things happen in the hardest ways, right? So it's the toughest route that leads you to the best destination. So that's what happens. So take Virat Kohli, for example. Virat Kohli, he's the fittest guy in the Indian team, and he's vegetarian. He's vegan, I guess. I don't know. He's vegan or vegetarian, but even vegetarian for that matter. So
Yeah.
again, like Anvay said, that being buff is not the healthiest way to live life. Okay,
Yeah.
there is in the long term, you need to have a perfect lean body or something close to that.
Yeah.
Secondly, even talking about
What I was saying is what Rahul said earlier. Basically, for the short-term pleasures thing, I think that depends on what your personal goal also is. Like you were saying, for some people they may not have a spiritual goal, and that's okay because they may not have reached that part yet. Where they want to explore the spiritual realm and go deeper into yoga and all these things. Everyone is not there yet. In fact, very few people are even now. So for them, maybe to follow the kind of diet that they want to, or eat non-veg once in a while, or however much they want to, for them it might be okay also because their goal is only not that. Huh. But yeah, I basically I think it depends on the person's goal in life. Like, or it depends also on what work you do. Because if you're doing major physical activity, like for example, chalo, I'll give this quick example. Okay, someone who's like The Rock. Okay, if he is working out so much at such a high level, he's so huge. Of course, his body needs more calories, more protein, and at a way higher level. God knows how many extra grams he's having. So that though is next level. But then, for example, someone like me or Rahil or even Jetra, maybe not so much Jetra, but more Rahil and me. So we don't need that level of eggs, protein, or whatever calories for our
it's
body.
very
So,
simple actually to maintain body mass. All you need to
uh,
have is 1 gram protein for each kilogram of your weight.
Yeah.
So if
uh,
you're 50 kgs, 50 grams of protein, which you can get through. So here's the difference, right? You can get it through 2 bowls of protein. Like you can get it through
uh,
two bowls of chicken, 100 grams each. You can get that and complete it. But
mm,
if you're having, if you're
Veg.
having, you're on a vegetarian diet,
yeah,
you need 4 bowls.
uh,
So in every 100 grams of chicken, there's around 25 grams of protein, while
mm,
in paneer, there's 14 grams. So you can see it's almost half.
mm.
But it's just the easier way to get there. And like Anvay said, if you have a spiritual goal, which it's not like I'm some
Yeah,
neither
neither
am
am
I.
I. I'm
Yeah,
maybe there a little, but I'm
yeah.
not like some proper. Like, by the way, this shouldn't don't let it deceive you. I'm not turning into a monk like you said in the beginning. I'm leading a normal life, like just like you. Anyways, continue.
Absolutely. So it's not like so even I'm not like I'm not the fittest guy in my gym or something of that sort. I'm just generally I can run well. I can do. I have enough sustenance. Like I can be. You can call me a fit person. But
Yeah.
the fittest guy in my gym is a vegetarian. Okay, and that guy lifts 3 times heavier than me. He runs thrice as fast as me, and I have no excuse that even though I'm on a veg. So most gym trainers will suggest you a non-vegetarian diet. Okay,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
tell you like non-veg is easy. Like it's just too. मतलब non-veg है तो हो ही जाएगा weight.
Bulking.
Bulking.
Basically bulking. Huh.
But the fittest guy in my gym is vegetarian. Absolutely, he's in fact Jain. And
But
Oh,
then see, that's again your goal, whether you want to bulk very
yeah,
quickly or
exactly.
whether
I
you want
think
to
it
live
depends on
a
your
healthy
goal.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
That
100%.
depends. Now, if I want to, if I want to put on a lot of weight and put on a lot of muscle mass, then maybe eating non-veg will get me to my goal faster than
Hmm.
doing vegetarian food because that will take a longer time and I won't get that same level of mass.
On
So
spiritual
coming
lines
to
also, but
so let's actually now talk about
huh.
each other's like our own personal journeys with veg food and non-veg food because I guess all of us here for today's discussion have tried both the sides of the argument. We all eat non-veg food, we all eat veg food.
Hmm.
talking about my journey with the entire. So I've been brought up. So my mom's Gujarati. She was a vegetarian since birth, and then she turned into non-vegetarian after she got married. My dad is a non-vegetarian. So the fun fact, my dad's not very non-veg like he's not the most obsessed guy with non-veg. कि बेटे का non-veg खाना ही पड़ेगा. Okay, he's the reason I stopped eating red meat. Okay, so my dad once just, I don't know if I call it an epiphany or what do I call it. He just one day was like, red meat, because red meat is generally not good for your health. Okay, it just has so many health disadvantages in the long run that can really not do wonders. So fourth standard or something, I stopped eating red meat also. So I used to only eat chicken, and I was happy with that because I didn't like red meat anyways that much.
Hmm.
In the 10th, what happened to me was I started. So there was this phase in the middle. I used to eat so much chicken that I messed up my entire health. So after my 10th standard, when I came to college, I'm like, अच्छा चल अभी school नहीं है. I have to come to college. I'll have to like be थोड़ा presentable and stuff. I started going to the gym and all of that, and I went on a vegetarian diet also that time because I had digestive issues and all of that. So and I knew the reason is chicken only. So I stopped eating non-veg also, and like for 2 years. So I was vegetarian in the middle for a year and a half or something, and I was not very like spiritually aware that time about what it's doing. So I really don't know how that phase was for me, but what it did do to me in the long run was it made me habituated to be to like vegetarian food as well. Okay, so if you ask any of my friends, they'll tell you that I like vegetarian food as much as I like non-veg food. In fact, I like vegetarian food more, to be honest, because the thing with non-vegetarian food is I love it in the process of eating it, but after that, the aftermath is just so irritating.
Yeah.
On the other hand, with vegetarian food, I like the process and the aftermath. Also talking about like when you talk about when you're weight training, okay, like a lot of people youngsters now are like they prefer weight training and they think it's hip, and it's a good thing to do. So about that as well, vegetarian food actually helps you grow a lot of lean muscle, while a non-vegetarian diet actually helps you like gain that extra muscle. So ideally, if you're very skinny and you want to put on weight, non-vegetarian diets you can try it. It'll probably help you
and it'll also help you gain weight faster.
Yeah, quicker. It'll help you reach your goal quicker. So that's what happened with me. I was around 76, 77 kgs with, a lot of extra muscle just roaming around, just eating meat all day or something of that sort. So yeah, so after 1.5 years of being vegetarian, I'll tell you this is a very funny story. So a friend took me out to eat. He wanted to eat something. And I have one weakness in non-vegetarian food is butter chicken.
Same, bro. Same.
And then I went nuts. Then once I ate it once, then I couldn't stop it. Like it's just like that.
It's like a drug.
It's like a drug. It just relapses then. So
yeah.
So now I feel I'm slowly getting that process where I can spiritually and like mentally be strong enough to even cut that strong part out of my life, that one weakness out of my life, which I'll probably do in the next 1 or 2 years. I'm not ready for it now yet, but probably in a year or two, slowly I'll go into that process, because the gradual change is what makes it better. You just immediately cut it, you'll just it will not make you happy mentally also. You'll be like, how do you live that entire process? And what happens is, so like I was saying, when I was on a non-vegetarian diet, there's so much muscle that you put on that it's very tough. So you don't know how much you're mentally just when you're. This is my experience. I might be different from many people. When you're eating non-vegetarian, like you're on a non-vegetarian diet, you don't have any control on how you're putting on weight or how you're losing weight. While your vegetarian diet helps you lose that extra amount of mass and tones your body in a better way, where you feel more active, you feel more healthy, and now I feel I know like my end destination of where I want to go spiritually as well.
So one thing was in terms of experience in veg and non-veg, mine will be actually different from both of you for that matter, because you guys grew up in a non-vegetarian household where you're used to eating chicken or meat every day. For me, it's the exact opposite. So in around the 8th standard or something, I used to watch a lot of MasterChef. So I'm from a pure vegetarian family. I mean, we eat eggs. I mean, I'm allowed to eat eggs, and my dad used to when he was small, but like when he was a kid. But otherwise, we don't eat any other meat products at home. And for me, in like the 8th standard or 9th standard, I was very curious as I watched a lot of MasterChef. And the funny thing is, I used to look at all these dishes, and they looked really, tasty and all. And I was just curious, and I asked my mom if I can, maybe try chicken and all. And fortunately, she allowed me. So I actually first tried chicken, and for some weird reason, I loved it. And after that, it was just more about exploring different kinds of foods and the taste of different foods. And I think because you guys are from non-vegetarian families, so you might not have this conversation. But for us vegetarians especially, I don't know who all have these conversations at home, but when you're traveling abroad or when you're supposed to travel abroad, you'll always have this one conversation in your house is, if we ate non-veg, you wouldn't have food problems abroad. Because if you're a vegetarian or if you're Gujarati, Jain or anything, your biggest issue going abroad is thepla milega kya? Or
Ah,
like
correct.
will I get veg food abroad?
Yeah.
That is like your biggest issue, and
Yeah.
it's like you're lauded if you eat non-veg because then you're like, "Arey, you won't have any issues when you go abroad. We can go to China, we can go to UK and everything. We won't have food issues."
Yeah.
That's like a fear or something among, like, it's not a fear, but it's a concern and a talk that we have in vegetarian households, especially, that if you go abroad, you won't have food issues. And for me, that's never been like, for me, eating non-veg was not more about what I'm, because every single day of my life I've eaten veg food. For you guys, it was more about you experienced non-veg, you've not felt that good, you tried veg, you felt very good. For me, I've already been at that veg food, good health. Now it is about pleasure.
Peak
Yeah.
ho gaya, now it's pleasure.
Because you see, for you, if you're eating non-veg, you're like, oh, in terms of inner well-being from both your experiences. You'd be here, you try veg, you get elevated slightly. But when you're born into a place where you're only over here, you're lacking one part, which is your pleasure from food. Because now, like, after some point, veg food gets kind of mundane and boring. Eating a dal roti every day. Yeah, veg food does have different variations, but you're missing out on an entire different side of taste.
It's just
If
like
the
chicken
people around
naturally
you-
tastes good.
Yeah,
Like
because
the basic form is
Yeah.
so it tastes much better than the basic form of your basic dal roti or something of
yeah.
that.
So you're when you're eating veg food, or you're kind of not into you're only into half of what all the food in the world is. Not exploring the other half, which is a non-veg food. And for me, it was more about that exploration and that that different taste, trying different foods and all. And now I eat certain meats. I don't eat certain meats. Like, I prefer not eating red meats because I personally don't like it. Although, like, in terms of non-veg, I eat more of seafood and chicken. Those are the only types of meats that I usually eat. And for me, it's not been about a lot of health, because every single day I'm already following that. For me, a non-veg is just a cheat day.
So the thing is, you realize the essence of how good non-veg food tastes when
Yeah.
you're in an event or you're some occasion, and there is the waiter roaming around with the appetizers. The finger food and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when you realize it, because paneer chili is okay, but when
Kebab.
Chili chicken.
chili chicken comes, that time you realize what is more important. Like, it just tempts you to go
Yeah.
towards it. But
So
then
then you always have that one thing, which is either your desire and your pleasure. So in terms of the spiritual talk, which we'll
Yeah.
have later in the future, but
Yeah, but I was going to say
you're a
that.
slave to your
Yeah.
slave to your desire when you're eating non-veg.
Mhm.
I've read it that you're a slave to your desire. You're giving into your desire to give yourself that pleasure. And in my opinion, I feel that there's no harm in giving yourself that pleasure.
My experience is a little similar to Jatra's because I've again, grown up in a half Maharashtrian household, so non-veg was there pretty much. I could eat it whenever I wanted, and like you said, for me it was there since I was a kid. So yeah, I always ate it when I was small. There was no restriction. Didn't mean that I ate it every day or anything. But whenever we went to my nani's house or some relative's house, there was non-veg a good amount because Maharashtrians love their non-veg, and I enjoyed my non-veg also because they were eating, so I was like. So yeah, that was a fun phase. I ate that, and at that time I had no spiritual goals as such. I was just eating and enjoying my food. There was no feeling of it. There was no spiritual feeling there. And obviously, like I already mentioned this, but last year that change and whatever my experience happened, and felt like switching to veg food. And I think for me, it's always been, I've never had that. When people say that. Like how you compare a chicken to paneer and chicken over paneer. Like for me, it's not that. Even though I am a non-vegetarian, not anymore, but for most of my life I have been. It was never like you know chicken over paneer. I love paneer also. In fact, sometimes I like paneer more than chicken, and I would prefer actually to eat paneer more than chicken anyway in general also. So I mean, I don't know. Like for those people, it might be like that, but for me, it was never like that. So I was always like either 50-50 or more of a preference for veg food anyway, because I always knew the thing that it makes me feel lethargic after eating and I don't feel the best. I feel tired and drowsy, lazy, whatever. That was always there. I just never really thought anything was wrong with that. I thought, हाँ non-veg खाते हो तो ये होता है, it's normal. So that was my experience, and then finally, this year during the lockdown, I made this change in my whole lifestyle. Switched to veg, not fully there yet, but I switched. I'm switching. I'm in the process right now. I've currently been off chicken for like a long time. Of course, I've broken it a few times here and there, but I'm also letting myself go in those few times because it takes time. You have to do it gradually. You can't just suddenly do it. It's a process again. And but yeah, I'm in that gradual process. Eggs I'm still eating on a regular basis because I'm also in that process of working out. So I started working out at the beginning of the lockdown. I was like, I decided two things that I want to make these major lifestyle changes. One is switch to vegetarian food. Second is get fit because I lost a lot of weight over the last year and I become too skinny. I was like, I need to change this. And since food is such a major part of your life, and basically, like they say, you are what you eat. It's true because what you eat, if you think about it at a little deeper level, what you eat actually becomes your body. You don't think about it that, but your
Spiritual
food
part
converts
goes in
into
the next part.
yeah, exactly. And when you think about it, it's actually when I had that moment where I heard Sadhguru say this, and I was like, yeah, I just went into some. I was like, "Whoa, dude, yeah, that's so yeah, that was my experience, and so far it's been good. Like I feel much better. I feel more alive. Like I said, while I've been eating vegetarian food, I feel lighter. I can work better. My workouts also, I have more energy during my workouts because I'm also trying to do this one thing. I'm eating more fresh food rather than cooked food. So what happens is when you cook the food, your nutrients or things that are in it, the enzymes that help with digestion, basically things that are good for you, those die off when you cook your food. And so your body has to reproduce them in order to digest the food, which is again, first of all, double effort. Secondly, it doesn't fully ever reproduce it. It only can max to max 50% reproduce those same enzymes or nutrients. So like the things that you need for digestion. So at like you should try to eat more fresh food. So I've been trying to do that. Like I've increased my fruits during the day. I always ate bananas or apples, but I never had a routine in my head that I'll eat them every day or whatever. So now I'm like eating at least one or two fruits every single day, and trying to eat more salad, basically more fresh food, so that at least my like digestion and my food intake is even more healthy or even better. So yeah, that's been my experience so far.
Okay, so now coming to the last part of our talk, and maybe the most controversial and maybe interesting, and the part that might get you thinking would be the spiritual, the moral dilemmas that you might face with, eating non-veg food because you are essentially killing another being to eat.
So in most of our discussion, like in the better half of our discussion, we've spoken about, or we've taken spirituality with respect to Vedic culture, okay, which would mostly attract like people who are Hindu viewers or Jain viewers or
Indians, basically, because
maybe.
regardless of whether you're Hindu, Muslim, or anything, you're used to, you've heard about it in India at some
Yeah,
point in your life.
it's there in the culture anyway. Huh?
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about what references we gave regarding Pith and all of that. Ayurveda is mostly comes under
Yeah.
Hindu culture mostly.
Mhm.
Talking about that, it's so if you're someone who doesn't follow the, if you're not a Hindu or you don't follow the guidelines or whatever spoken under the Hindu culture, let me also tell people that that's not the only thing. There are biological aspects that support the spirituality. So if you're vegetarian and you're meditating and you've reached that goal. So vegetarianism is a key part of meditation or reaching that spiritual goal. Okay, because a lot of meditation, what it's supposed to do is supposed to calm you. But what meat does or what consuming non-veg does is when you intake food is not only energy, but it is also uh, it's also, so it's not only a source of energy that you need to be active, but it's also a form of energy. That is, I'm talking about a spiritual energy. So biologically also it's supported that when, so it's very simple, since vegetarianism is a part of meditation, and meditation has shown biological effect, like has scientifically proven to cause biological changes in your brain. And
One part that Anvay was talking about was essentially what you're eating becomes your body.
Yeah.
So now if you're
Exactly.
when you're killing an animal, that whatever that animal's meat and everything was is
the
essentially
emotions and everything also, yeah.
It becomes you. Yeah. So whatever it went through before it died, and not just that. I mean, it could be anything else for that matter. basically becomes a part of you. So it affects your systems and it affects your body in ways we don't even realize, but it does because it becomes a part of you. So, anyways, but yeah, to add to this, I just have this one thing to say that I think like just think about it this way, and I know this thing has been said before, but like, would you yourself, if you're eating non-veg, go and kill that chicken yourself? Would you be able to do that? I don't think so, because I definitely wouldn't be. I know that. Like, and I'm an eater of non-veg still. I'm not fully off it, and I know I can't go and kill any of those things that I eat myself. And I'll shit myself. It won't happen basically.
So for us, it's essentially we're getting it packed already.
Exactly, we're getting it ready to eat. So yeah, I mean, I don't think people would be able to do it themselves, and I know for sure that like all of y'all are in agreement with me on this. I think that we wouldn't be able to do it ourselves. Just kill an animal like we're eating. It's tough. You can't do that, and you will feel only like your conscience will only stop you from doing it. So I mean, that's just one aspect of it. That's just one reason, but there are many more reasons which you've already said. The spiritual reasons, the spiritual gains, the benefits, and all are all already there, and it's all written. It's not like we're saying this like we are some knowledgeable, learned men. We have also learned this from other places, and we are far from being experts in this, but we're just sharing our experience, our opinions, and I think yeah. So that's all I have to say there.
So guys, to conclude, I think we've discussed a lot about different food aspects, different aspects about spirituality, yoga, which Anway very rightly gave. Chaitra gave a lot of things about bodybuilding and how your body the way you can eat non-veg food to bulk up, but maybe in the long run eating vegetarian food is healthier. We've discussed all of that. We've discussed the moral aspects about the spiritual aspects about whether you eat non-veg or whether you eat vegetarian food. For you personally, I feel do what feels right and discover, go on your own journey and see what's right for you. Our motive by talking about this was just to get you to think about what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. And yeah, anything else that you guys want to say?
Yeah, I guess my concluding remarks would be the same, because explore on your own, experiment on your own, and you'll know what works for you. So guys, if you liked the video, do drop a like. If you want to share some feedback or share your thoughts on what we spoke about, comment on our Instagram page or on the YouTube video. We'll read it, reply to you. And if you want to see more such content, make sure you subscribe. We hope we made some sense to you. We tried our best. I think we made somewhat sense to each other at least. Yeah. And yeah, we tried our best to put this together, and see you in the next video. Bye bye, namaste.